Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is being pulled on Sunday, June the 7th, 2026. Today we're pulling from the Game of Thrones tarot cards. So tomorrow, and you don't have to obviously be part of the faith to participate this, but it is a day of forgiveness and a day of removing so like jinns or evil eyes or bad words being speak against you. Remember, every time they speak on my name, our blessings multiply. They gossip, we glow. Every time they speak on our name, we prosper, we grow. So utilizing turning it, so instead of going back and forth, sending it back to sender, blah blah blah, this is you transmuting the energy and making it into something positive. Anytime they speak on you, you get some sort of blessing come in. So I did a private reading last night after Shabbat was done. I knew this ceremony was coming. It's not one that I particularly practice. And then the rabbi that I followed, Rabbi Allen, came on, and he was talking about this time and that you're supposed to give a tshuva, which is a charitable donation. So the number 72 is significant with this, and this is where it's you give a charitable donation and you ask for anything that is stopping you from moving forward in your path. Biggest thing is forgiveness. If we've done something, and we feel like it's heavy on our heart and we don't feel like we should be forgiven for it, or we're not sure how to ask for forgiveness, this is a very potent, magical time. It's also going outside of ourselves, praying for people we care about, praying for the world. So the war, the conflict going on in the world, that, why can't we just be peaceful? So very potent day tomorrow. So getting into the actual cards, 5 of coins. So this is the reversal of feeling lack. They're saying frustration, deceit. It looks like that bowl is broken here. So, you know what I mean? Like in the Asian culture, they use gold to put things back together. They don't throw it out if they're able to. And it looks beautiful. I practice that, where it's just like, if it could be put back together, I definitely do. Obviously when it's things that, we're going to use and it's to the point of like, should be chucked out or whatever. But I'm talking about like simple little things, like a vase or something like that. But I feel like it's like that reversal coming out of that energy. I definitely feel like anyone that's going through the Pluto retrograde, I've been saying this, probably sound like a broken record, but it's just like you're going through this change and transformation. The tarot deck, the death card, a rebirth, transition. This is a redirection. This is showing you where you're supposed to go. So instead of hitting a tower moment, where this is also a time of leveling up our clairaudience, our clairvoyance. If you've noticed that those abilities have changed, you've leveled up. So it's having that deeper connection, listening to what they're saying. So with ourselves, someone had told me something, this person has the tendency to say a lot, take it with a grain of salt. And then on the video, like, Spirit had come to me and said, make sure you're not putting, apples and stuff. So I was like, okay. And then that, like, on the 30th, I think it was like a couple days after they had said that, like, there it was on camera. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Are you open? Are you receiving? You know what I mean? I thank you for hearing when things happen for you. Thank you for hearing my prayers. Thank you for hearing my pleads. Like, you know what I mean? It's just showing them that you're opening to receiving, you know what I mean? But also being thankful for that they hear you as well. When you send your prayers up, they hear you. King of Spears, King of Wands. Like, a lot of people say, oh, this is a man coming in. Take it what resonates. For me, I feel like the king is like the disciplinarian, this is like listen up kind of energy, you know what I mean? And I feel like, a father figure or grandfather or someone that is strong on the other side. So, Shane and dad, it's like, you need to listen to your intuition at this time. You know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of things going on, got a lot of stuff done on Friday. You know what I mean? And it's just like being thankful for that time. Like, I definitely was getting tired around noon. I got up early. I was like, let's get this day started. Let's get things done. I can nap later before Shabbat. One major thing that we were trying to get done is done. We just have to correct something and it's done. But I am very thankful because I did not have the knowledge. I did not have the wisdom. I have no experience with this. And this is how, even though I was afraid of goofing up, I was afraid that this wouldn't turn out the way it did. You know what I mean? I still push forward, and I'm a perfectionist. You know what I mean? Obviously, hopefully I don't have to do this project again, I know how to you know what I mean, put your heart and soul into it, because it's like now you have the experience how to do, you know what I mean. Thankful for that lady that was working at Canadian Tire that day, that, you know, instead of the drywall tape, getting the drywall plastic tape, not the paper one. She's like, definition of insanity. You know what I mean? Listening. I can't remember. I believe it was a gentleman that was there. He was a English gentleman. He was working in his daughter's room. Kind of, hers was worse than ours, way worse than ours. But you know what I mean? Like putting the waterproof primer on. You know what I mean? Building that two barriers. You know what I mean? So avoiding the definition of insanity. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. It's just like, I feel like I bring that up, but for me, that is major, because it's just like, we didn't cause this, but I always treat every place that I live at like it's ours. You know what I mean? Like it is ours. This is a home of God. This is a home of love, and you know what I mean? Respect. Yeah, we get on each other's nerves and stuff like that, but you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, even though we're fearful, we don't have experience with things, know that, you know, whoever you believe in, if it's your higher self, has already come out with the resolution, it will utilize people in your life to use their hands or their knowledge to help you. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, fear is the biggest thing. Like, you know, even Kanye said that. He goes, even when I fear things, I still do it. And they're like, what happens if you fail? He's like, I guess we'll never know, because everything he was fearful of, he still did it. You know what I mean? And he was successful. So, you know what I mean? They're like bob and weave, you know, but you know, in that situation, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and it was figured out. So I'm just very thankful for that. You know what I mean? When you were open to receiving, you know what I mean? We always ask, but it's like, oh, be open to receiving as well. Channel messages, channel images, dreams, you know, people just speaking to you. Like even with Reiki healer Hope and Anastasia I was talking about this in the private reading last night, where it's like we're leaving behind. So very much touching on tomorrow. 707 was a number that just popped up. Touching on, we have to remove the fear of past situations happening right now, because we are different. We have the experience, we have the knowledge, we're able to move forward. So that's where they're just like, what happened then, you know, kind of like in Claus, when the brother was talking to his sister there. He's like, that was then, this is now. That was there, this is here. Kind of basically bringing her into now. He's like, can't always drudge up the past, or they say digging up dead bodies, you know what I mean? And bringing it into the situation you're in. Kind of like if you're moving on with love, if you've gone through a divorce or bereavement and the person behaved poorly, it doesn't mean that you should punish the new relationship for this, because it's like, that's what they did in the past. Well, if you're still living in the past, you can't live in the future. I feel like June 15th, we're definitely moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, if you're lucky enough not to have Pluto retrograde affect you, I feel like June 15th and on will be a lot easier. I feel like rest and rejuvenation, a lot, like with ourselves, a lot of projects are done. Like, you know, the flowers are planted. The stupid squirrels dug them up today. I was like, you little bastards. Freaking replanted them when I was taking Sunny out, and tonight's going to be a frost, so we're going to have to bring them in just to prevent, you know, them getting damaged. But, you know, asking for strength in this time. Like, you know, I know when I'm struggling and I'm trying to, you know, put one foot in front of the other and get through the week. And, you know, like last week, you know, definitely by Thursday, I was just like, oh my God, thank God it's my Friday. You know what I mean? Because I work Sunday through Thursday with that. But it's like, oh, I'm so thankful that, you know, for that, that it's Shabbat and I get to rest and, you know what I mean? Do the things that I need to do. So it's like calling in for strength, asking your loved ones, archangels, Yahweh, Yeshua, divine creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, your higher self, whomever it is that gives you that strength. Call upon them to help you through that week. Or maybe you're getting ready to go for a vacation and it's just like, oh my gosh, just get me through this week, because, you know, you definitely need to turn off the alarm so your phone isn't, or whatever device you have that goes off to wake you up, it's not going off. You just, you know, get to sleep in and just wake up and enjoy the day. Not have to worry about have to be here at this time and this and this and this. It's just, you know what I mean? Living the life of luxury. We have the Eight of Spears, something coming out of the blue. Crows may be something, a bird significant to you, but out of the blue, 3 weeks time. Some people see this as Cupid's arrow. So this is where that King of Wands will come in strong here where if you feel like you're calling in love and so, this fiery sign is coming in for you, this could be a positive confirmation that I just feel like better days are ahead. I definitely feel like they're showing the Four of Swords in my mind's eye from this deck, actually. And it's just like a time of peace, a time of rest, a time of rest and rejuvenation. I feel like meditation is going to be very important as well. A lot of people say if you meditate through before you go into like a retrograde or anything like that, it won't be as bad. So if you're able to utilize that or that resonates with you, definitely time to do a meditation or even yoga classes. We have the Hermit, and I feel like this is where you're kind of like practicing invoking your third eye, and I feel like they're bringing on the messages. It does look like he's holding up the lantern, but I feel like the crow is the lantern, is the light, is bringing in the messages, is bringing in the wisdom. You know what I mean? The signs, the symbols, third eye, clear audience, clairvoyance, like what you're like the fact that Reiki healing, Hope, and Anastasia would both talk about the same messages and meanings. It was on one of the dailies where she was like, you need to work on your relationship with money. You need to leave that scarcity of like, when you go through traumas, throughout your life, and it's just like, having this scarcity with the home and all this stuff. Like they even said like, how you and Shane started here and you ended up in the house. And it's just like, I'm like, well, Shane was there, a little different, but it's just like, well, it happened, didn't it? And it's like, look where we are now. So, even though he's transformed, it's like he's still here in that way. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's just, if you believe you can accomplish the things you want and you always are setting the bar higher of what you want, you will always strive and do those things. So, yeah, it sometimes it does feel like not every day is going to be perfect. You know what I mean? If we could bottle those feelings, we would. But asking for that strength, this is Chariot energy. Like, with determination, you will get to where you need to be getting. And I feel like that's where the Hermit's coming in. It's like, yeah, there's some things coming in the path, or, with Pluto retrograde, Mercury retrograde happening on the end of June. It's like, yeah, there's going to be things, you may see some friends leave your path. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, but it's just like, that's what the death card is all about. People, places, and things, they're just evolved, situations have changed, and you know what I mean? I don't know if this is shadow side, but they were like, truly, you weren't that important. So take what resonates, but I feel like that's kind of like shadow trying to sneak in here because you feel vulnerable because it's like, damn, someone that I cared about is leaving my life, but it's just like, you know what I mean? They've outgrown the situation. Bringing in Judgment, you definitely see how he's standing like scales. Or some people may pray like that when they put their hands out to do the Lord's Prayer. We do that at Mass. The 31st was the last Mass of the year, but I usually rewatch. I get into Tribal Trails at this time. They've been posting a lot of new videos, so I'll probably start watching that as well. But I just go back to, October, after Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, and start watching it over again. So, with Judgment again is like knowledge or leveling up, but I also feel like that balance being restored in here. And I feel like a lot of us have felt it's the Two of Pentacles where it's like balancing on one foot. But I feel like, I know someone in my life, again, with tomorrow's prayers, it's like, asking for people's health or what's standing in their way of, you know what I mean? But I feel like, I don't want to say too much, but sometimes people make their lives what they are. You know what I mean? You can't do nothing about that. You could pray for them, but if you're not, trying to fix that situation and are probably the root cause of it, then it's just like, can't sit there and ask people for help and this and that when you're not even making, like they said, when you move, I move. So if you're just sitting on your butt pulling the covers over your head, you can't expect anyone else to make moves. Nine of Cups, your future is brightening. So this is where I was talking about with like Sam with knowledge. So with myself, it's like I didn't like some of the things that Robbie was saying. You know what I mean? Maybe something happened, but you know what I mean? Sometimes we say things and it's out of emotion, but you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to support someone that speaks a certain way. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you're angry on your side, they're angry on their side, but it's just like you're just bringing in more hate. We're trying to fix that and remove that. But the reason why I bring that up, and I feel like with Sam, is like when we always see the books with him, I feel like with myself, and I was saying this to my girlfriend this morning that I did the private reading for last night, I was like, I feel like because they see my devotion, my dedication, it's like she's ready to bring this in. I feel like that's when we started, and I just literally read this passage and wrote beside it, this is the passage that brought us to the Torah. I've been really interested in the Torah since 2011. I started reading it in 2016 because I actually got the English version off of Amazon, and then it's like been part of my life since then. But actually practicing the celebrations, the high holidays, like, it definitely is a discipline. Like, I was definitely really tired this Friday, and it's like, just read, keep the Sabbath and keep it holy. You know what I mean? So it's just like, even when we're dead tired, and I always say to myself, does God ever tell me he's too tired to listen to me or help me, or, you know what I mean, receive my prayers or hear my petitions or anything like that? No. So, you know what I mean? Even though I'm tired, I will drag my butt and I will do it and I will get it done. And we did. So, you know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just kept getting, this energy. You know what I mean? Like when you get your second wind, as they call it, it's just like, come on, let's do this. Let's do this. I didn't want to do the project that we were working on, and it got all done. If the paint matched, it would have been perfect. You know what I mean? But it's okay. Life is all about little oopses, and it's like, trial and error. It's like you learn from certain situations. That's all you can do. You know what I mean? That's what you could chop it up to. But it's like, you know what I mean? If that's the mistake, then that's the mistake. It can be fixed. That's the number one thing. It can be fixed. But I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, some people are like, oh, you're going back to school. Well, yeah, in a sense you are, because you're dedicating your time and energy into some sort of study, or you're learning some sort of wisdom. But this is all about leveling up. When we bring in these things to you, are you going to be dedicated enough to start doing it? And you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm going to start doing this every year now. You know what I mean? Because it's like that knowledge, that wisdom was made, came forward. Even this year with Shavuot, I had no idea there was eating restrictions or anything, so I was just like, okay, I have to, do it as they say. We were not prepared for it, but quickly we just changed. We're like, okay, don't do this and this, and that's what we did. We just quickly changed to what it asked of us. So that's why I feel like, whatever is your calling of your heart's desire, it's like not necessarily going back to school. Some of you it's going back to school, trade school. Maybe you're doing something different. They're showing curling someone's hair with a curling iron. I don't know if that means anything, but you know what I mean? Or maybe someone's helping out. Maybe they're really good with hair and makeup. So they are like, someone's getting married or going to a prom or something, and they're asking for someone, like an older sister or, a cousin or something that, they're showing nails. So acrylic nails, that they have this beautiful aesthetic about them. You know what I mean? That speaks to this person, and it's like, hey, can you do that for me? But Nine of Cups, it's like just a gentle reminder, don't future trip. The future is yours. The world is your oyster. You know what I mean? I was shown so many decks. I was shown Alice in Wonderland. I was shown this one. I was showed the Beauty of Horror. So I'm just like, okay, we'll pull from this one. You know what I mean? I'm trying to listen more to when they tell me something, instead of going here, there, and everywhere. It's just like, okay, what's the first thing they showed me? Let's go to that one. So we got 9 of Cups and the 9 of Coins. So 99, 100. So this is what I'm saying. The World card, completion, that, everything is wrapping up. The situations, this is where I feel like 10 of Wands don't take anything else on. For me, this is huge because this is something that's weighed on my mind and it's done. I don't have to look at it and be like, oh, we got to get that done. Every time I try to get it done, this one sleeps in too much. This happens, that happens. There's, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, okay, or there's a celebration of some sort. Okay, we got to push it off to the next, you know what I mean? It's like we were always pushing it off because I'm too tired or, whatever this case may be, So in this case, it was, like I said, a simple mistake. You know what I mean? I should have just listened to my intuition, got a quart instead of a gallon. But, if anything, I could keep it and use it, on a future project or so. It's just not my color. It's very peachy. So I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on Marketplace. If someone wants it, they can have it. But I feel like 9 of Coins, like, rebirth in your life. And I feel like that's where they're saying you're ready for this, like, leveling up, going back to the Hermit card as well. Things come in. It's just like they're coming in because you were ready. You have the discipline. When they everyone's like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. But it's like, are you, like they said, when you move, I move, With the Judgment card, it's just like, that's when you're receiving downloads and channel messages and all the things we're trying to bring in. But it's like, it's also a discipline. It's also a practice. And how do you do that practice? Are you doing it for the betterment of the world, or are you doing it because you think you should get some sort of, they're saying sacrifice, but they're saying that you should get some sort of reward, grand reward. You know what I mean? I feel like, when I did that reading for my best friend's bestie there, you know, she didn't have to do the things that she did, that, for myself. And I'm just like, because you did that, I do this. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, that's who I am and that's how I run things. I just, I understand it's like an exchange of energy and everything like that, but like, Dwayne Chapman says, Dog the Bounty Hunter, at the end of the day, I have to look at myself in the mirror and I have to answer to God. And there's this beautiful soul. I love her absolutely. I have to look at her TikTok there. They're saying Instagram. I guess everybody's on Instagram. But she's opening her own salon and she said the same thing. What she does for her clients, and you know what I mean? It's nobody's business. That's nobody's business. You know what I mean? It's like how she pays things forward, people word of mouth, bringing clients to her and whatever opportunities to her. And it's just like the way she pays that forward, the way that she shows that she is thankful. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the biggest way to bring in blessings? Is to show that you're thankful, to show that when you are blessed, they're utilizing someone else's hands and you're utilizing your hands to pay it forward. Like you people pass in the street, take $1 or double it, and everyone's usually says double it. So usually you'll have like, young individual that doesn't really understand the concept of things. And it's like, oh, I'll take it. And it's like, well, out of your greed, you're taking it, but you never know who's behind you that may need it more than you do. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Oh, look, there's a peacock. This looks like a peacock to me. Or a peahen. We just put out our peacock outdoor decor on Friday. But 9 of Pentacles, is the rebirth. They're like 50-50. So maybe like a 50-50 draw or a 50-50 with a pregnancy or something like that. I feel like boy or girl, so that is 50-50. Even look at her gown, you know what I mean? The skirt. Like that's what really caught my attention. Blue boy, you know what I mean? So there could be someone, like this usually is a card, a sign of pregnancies. This is what Anastasia and Reiki healer Hope was telling us to leave behind. Things that we're holding so close to our chest and the fear of losing it. You know what I mean? And universe gentle reminders, like you have nothing to fear at all. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. When you're made to feel this way, if you've been brought up that way, scarcity and, this, not, you don't have that home security or anything like that. It's just like you're something always in the back of your mind, and people say stupid things and do stupid things that could trigger it. And obviously they don't know you. They don't know your past and stuff like that. But it's just like, it's an effed up situation to be in. When you're not sure how you're going to move forward or how things are going to work out. But, you're learning as you get older or wiser, you know what I mean? That things always work out in your favor. It's already been worked out. When problems come up, it's like, I already know it's been fixed. It's been resolved. It's already been taken care of. Even though I don't know what's going to go on here. I don't understand what's going on. It doesn't matter. It will work out. 2 of Wands, universe supporting you. So when you're feeling exactly like I was saying, knowing that they've already come up with, when things come in your path, or you hear knockings of things, or you're feeling upset, or you're feeling vulnerable, you know what I mean? It's like insecure. This is when you just say to yourself, I already know whoever you believe in, Yahweh, Yeshua, Divine Creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, they've already worked out a plan. I'm already Victor wearing the wreath. They're showing the 6 of Wands. They're showing the Chariot. So that's an absolute yes that this will work out in my favor. Sometimes it's not exactly what you thought it would be, but it works out in your favor. So it's just like being patient as those things come. And that's the biggest thing. Patience. I, for one, do not have patience. So just, you know what I mean? Just know that they have your back as you move forward. Like for me, I don't like being put in certain situations. I know I have to play ball sometimes. It is what it is. But just like this week is a little chaotic and it's just like, okay, just gonna take it one day at a time and not worry. I'm just gonna go with the flow, ebb and flow. And right now it's definitely ebb time. You know what I mean? It's just like a lot of taking of energy right now. But again, once that's done, I have this, then one more thing. That's the other, like, you know what I mean? I feel like we'll get a lot of answers when we go to this thing. And once we get those answers, hopefully we can make up a plan, somewhat of a plan. I don't feel like it'll be perfect because it's going to be a chaotic situation and it's like nothing you can do about it, you know? Just keep moving forward. Ace of Cups, I love this kind of where it's like the cup of unity. Someone may be getting married. You know, literally one of my friends sent me a picture of a dove and she's like, you know, this is what I saw. And I sent her messages and it's just like, you know, when you get married, the tradition is you both, the bride, the groom, whomever, the parties pour into one cup as the cup of unity. You know, you're starting a new union. You know, your union is usually your family, your birth family, and then you go get married and you leave, not leave, but you add on 444. We keep getting 444. I'm going to look up some meanings in there. That something I learned last night, never been learned before. Again, another leveling up, but utilizing your skill set, you know, making that wheelhouse even stronger, you know, expanding more on it. But you know, this is where universe is like, let me pour into your cup. You know what I mean? Especially when you go through situations where you're just like, I don't, you know, with myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, like something shifted, and I'm like, it is what it is. So you know what I mean? It's just asking, yeah, again, the strength card, asking them to come in and give you the strength to get, you know, maybe get through the next 3 weeks. For me, it's about, what, where are we on, 6 weeks now? So it's like nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? Just take it one day at a time. That's what I'm doing. I just like, you know, I could sit there and be like, oh, you know, it's so long and da da da. Waste of energy. When you catch yourself thinking about things that are a waste of time, just stop yourself. It just say, this ain't benefiting my life at anything. It's just, you know, draining me of my energy. So I just need to keep pushing forward. And that's all you need to do. Keep pushing forward. Keep you living your best life. That's all you can do. Some days are going to be better than others, but always make sure that you're drinking your water, rest and rejuvenate when you can. You know, I know not every day is going to look like that. Like tomorrow, you know what I mean, is a very significant day for us, but also, you know, now this new devotion day where it's asking for forgiveness, something that weighs heavily on your heart that you want forgiveness for. You want to leave it behind. You can ask everything and everything. And remember, it's not just yourself, it's your loved ones around you, people around you that are, you're not doing so well, you know, the world, you know what I mean? Try to expand it as much as you can, you know, and then give your donation to whomever. So in this case, the number is 72. So if you want to give $72 to someone, you know, that's where it is. Like, you know, someone, some charity, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I already have one in my mind, one that we always give to, and make sure you do that. You know what I mean? Give your tuva, do your devotion, do your prayers. You know what I mean? This was unexpected. I just found out about this literally when I woke up. So, you know what I mean? Again, it's just like they could see your dedication. You know what I mean? So they know you'll get it done. So that's all you can do. Do the best you can. But even if you're doing cat naps and stuff like that, I know with myself when I was napping and then it was like starting to affect my night sleep because I was just like, you know, I would be up in the middle of the night. I was like, nope. Try to keep yourself awake, and because the naps during the day are affecting my sleep at night, I'm not doing it. You know, it's just bob and weave like they were saying, you know, but it's almost over. 3 weeks time, you'll see a lot more stability, a lot more balance, and you know what I mean? That's all you can do. Just take it easy, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Tomorrow, if it resonates with your heart, it is a day of forgiveness. It's a day to call in anything, to remove any blocks that you feel that are present in your life from stopping you from moving forward. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next one.